What's happening YouTube? So today's video is basically my perception on contest prep. Dominique's done her version, so you'll have either watched her version, now you'll be watching mine, or you'll be watching mine first, then we'll go into her version. So we're basically just talking about all about competition prep, how I find it, how I found it, and how I thought I was, and the perception that I have of myself during prep, versus how I probably actually was to the outside eye and whatnot. So I'll start by saying, when I went into prep, I'd not prepped for 2 years prior to that, and I just felt that my mindset weren't ready for it. I felt like I didn't want to do it, and I said until I get that like fire and until I get that click back, I'll just make that switch. And literally, when that switch goes, that's it. Prep mode is on, and it's like nothing else matters kind of thing. I didn't really have that for 2 years, and then this year, I just felt like I was in a good position to diet and whatnot. So I thought, right, you know what, I'm gonna make the most of it. I'm gonna commit myself to it. I'm coaching X amount of contest prep athletes right now, so I'm gonna lead by example and show these people what it's all about, and show other people from an outside eye just exactly what you can achieve if you commit yourself to something. So going into this prep, I said to Dominique, you know what, I'm going to work with JP, and I want to say to Jordan, I want a date night per week, and I'm not going to sacrifice this, and like I'm going to be chilled out, I'm going to be stressed because my relationship with food's strong. Like, food never really bothered me, but it did do when I competed in 2014 and 15. I'm sure you've seen pictures of where I've rebounded and everyone used to call my hamster cheeks and things like that. Like, I used to blow up after shows. Like, my first show I put 35 pounds on in like 3 days. It was just disgusting, and it's a massive learning curve, and I think a lot of people have to go for it. But I basically just said that, you know what, like, food doesn't bother me, so my relationship with it isn't going to change. I'm not going to be craving, because I to be honest, before prep I didn't even really eat shit, and when I started to meet Dominique, I had a good balanced diet. I didn't weigh foods to an extent. I just kind of knew what I was eating, and my body was at kind of a set point where I wasn't getting no fatter and I wasn't getting no lean. If anything, I was just filling up and flattening off, depending on what I was doing on specific days. And I was just really enjoying my training, and I thought, you know what, now's the time to go into competition prep. So with all that being said, the reality of what happened isn't what I've just said. I did get obsessive. I've just got the mentality that it's pretty much all or nothing, and I get into a mindset sometimes where I'm training, and even though I know that I should be backing off loads or I should be doing something, I will literally try and purposely run myself into the ground so that psychologically I can be like, there is no one that is outworking me right now. Like, I don't give a fuck who you are not outworking me. So when I get on stage, I know nobody's worked as hard as me. It's as simple as that. And that's just a mentality that I had from when I first worked with Jamie. Because if anyone's trained with Jamie, you know that Jamie trains hard as fuck. And when I started applying that to me, like, I've just always had that mentality to like literally go all out every session. Then I started working with Jordan, and things took a completely different turn. Like, I started to utilise rest days, I started to understand progressive overload and other things. And prep started off really well, and then it was literally the last 10 weeks that things started to get bad. I started to get obsessive with food, not in the sense that I wanted to binge eat or craving, because the truth is I wasn't craving anything. Obsessive in regards that I wanted to eat less and I wanted to do more. I wouldn't have 36 grams of blueberries if my plan said 35. I'd literally like take a blueberry out, and I'd prefer to have 34 than 35. And this is like, if a client was saying this to me, I'd literally be like, what the fuck? Like, I'd be on their case like mad, helping them understand the psychology behind it, and how stress is more detrimental than just actually doing it. And basically, I'm so much better at preaching about what to do than actually doing, because I am my own worst enemy. But that in a sense is just because I coach X amount of clients, and I feel I have to lead by example. I can't rock up to a show looking soft and looking in shit condition like some other people do. no digs, but just like I need to be the best version of myself, so that when I drop a picture, people, it's my business, people are like, fuck me, Dan brought it again. Win or lose, like, people, I need people to know that I gave it my everything and I still rocked up in the best shape that I could. But I found myself in prep become quite irritable. It affected my service with clients because I had no patience or tolerance. My tiredness and the amount of fatigue that I got towards the latter end of prep affected my personal service because I just couldn't function to structure sessions together. I found it hard to maintain conversation and be positive and be like active and enthusiastic towards them and their goals. Just things that I had clients who might not understand the process, but because I'd been through the process, it's like I'd get messages and be like, you know, like, oh, I'm flat, I look shit, and I'd just be looking like, what the fuck, like, you even know what flat means? You've read it on Instagram, as opposed to being like, you know what, voice note them and say, right, look, you're not flat, you're experiencing this because of this, like, blah 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 blah, and just explain the process to them. So that's something that I'm happy to go back to now, that I'm back communicating with clients. But during prep, I'd be like, why, fucking hell, like, it'd be the finger pointed kind of thing. It wouldn't be me who's irritable, it wouldn't be me that's tired. But yeah, I did get tired. Prepping with Jordan was probably the best prep I've had. It's definitely the best physique that I've brought, and the most knowledgeable prep. So this video is no digs at Amy, because anyone that does prep will know that you get tired. I don't give a fuck if you work with Jordan, Jamie, fucking John Meadows, Matt Jansen, whoever, like, you will get tired, and that's not your coach, that's just the fact that your body's doing excessive output and has little input. It's as simple as that. And Jordan had to remove my cardio 2 weeks out, so I was doing less this prep than I have any other prep, yet I was just a fatigue. So that's just where prep takes you. It is a hard process, and this is why I, like, in my most recent transition now, when I prep people for shows now, the focus is health, and to help them understand it. Help them understand that this is not the be all and end all, that you don't have to sacrifice everything that I've sacrificed. You don't have to be as big of a prick as what I have. You don't have to sacrifice your business and relationships all for the sake of a trophy if it's just a hobby. If you're a paid athlete and this is your life and this is your career and it's your job, then fair enough, yeah, it might have to be a little bit harder for you because you have to dig down. But if you're doing things that I found myself doing this year without knowing, then you need an outside eye to tell you, and that outside eye for me was Dom and Josh. So yeah, but basically I found myself fine. I thought I was alright. I don't need anybody. I'm Dan Luke. I lead, like, I'm Superman. Like, I don't need anybody to talk to. I don't need it. Like, simple things like training with Josh, I just wouldn't turn up to sessions with Josh because I'd just be like, nah, I need to do my session, or like I just wouldn't want to be around people. And that's, again, secluding myself, and that's something that prep can potentially do to you. But long story short, guys, I'm rambling on a little bit now. I personally found myself alright. If anything, I just thought, oh, I'm quite irritable and I am quite tired. And sometimes I do just want time alone because you're literally that tired, you just want to sit on your ass and just think, fuck, and just relax. But it's good to be around people. So my advice would be not to cut people off. It would be to surround yourself with people who understand the process. It would be to sympathise for your family if you're living at home, for your partner if you've got a family, living with a family like kids and whatnot. Like, you've got to understand you're putting yourself through this process. This is not their fault. So things like, if Dom wanted to go shopping, I'd try and be motivated to go shopping, but in my head I'd be thinking, fuck my life, like, and I'd be dragging my feet around traffic and I'd be like, eyes going, and it just ruined the day. So just try not to be that prick. Try not to make as many sacrifices as what you need to. You can still get in competition condition and maintain a lifestyle and eat out once a week, whether it just be a lean cut steak. You're still having that social aspect of it, and you can still let your girlfriend, partner, wife get dressed up and take them out, because it's not, they shouldn't have to suffer as well, kind of thing. So yeah, that's like my kind of perception of it, and that's like kind of why I decided not to compete again, or for the foreseeable future, simply just because I just thought people shouldn't be aspiring to be like what I am like right now, and you guys don't know half of what's going on behind it. Like, you're just seeing a physique, and although I look like a monument of health, shredded, I was just so unhealthy, so unhappy. I was secluded, my relationship was fucking in tatters. Not in tatters, but we were just arguing. That for me is tatters, because me and Dom never argue. We literally, our relationship started where we'd just have, I don't know, we might argue for like a minute, and then we'd literally look at each other, we'd burst out laughing before, you know, we're back to being affectionate. And speaking of affectionate as well, that's another thing, it will close you off. Your sex drive, if you're a guy watching this now and you're in competition prep, your sex drive will go, especially if you're an enhanced athlete, your sex drive will go. And you got to think, that's just not you, because your focus is prep, so you're not really understanding how much of an effect this is. But let's be real, if your partner's not having sex and she's not having sex for 4 to 6 weeks, it's going to affect your relationship, and it's going to affect her mood as well. So that was another thing for me and Dom. Like, I am really quite affectionate with Dom, I'm quite touchy-feely, and I like to be around her all the time. So when in prep I wasn't like that, it had a massive effect. So it's good to be back to being normal Dan, and being normal Dan and Dom, and being around her and being affectionate again. But yeah, I hope that video helps, clears a few things up here. I've rambled on for quite a long time now, so I'll leave you guys to it, and I hope this was some relevance, or you can relate to it somehow, and leave me a comment below.
So we just wanted to say thank you to everybody that has liked, shared and subscribed to our channel so far. We've had loads and loads of messages that have been really, really nice, just saying that everybody's loving what we're doing so far. So thank you.
Yeah, and we hope this video helped. And if it didn't, that's probably not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's probably a good thing.
It's probably a good
if
thing.
you can't relate to it, then you're doing something right.
Yeah. But yeah, so we hope it brought some relevance, and we hope you enjoyed it. And as Dom said, thank you for watching, thank you for subscribing if you have, and thank you for everybody that's reached out, because we have actually been getting a lot of support in the transition that we've recently made. And
yeah, we're going on holiday tomorrow, so we're going to vlog that.
Yeah.
We decided to book it yesterday, and we go tomorrow. And then I had a slight panic attack because I have absolutely zero holiday clothes that I can fit my legs and bum into anymore. So,
and I'm literally sat here waiting for the Trafford Centre to open to go and buy shorts.
So yeah, stay tuned.
Thank you.